Over the course of the inception of Valorant's esports scene, there has been 4 separate Valorant Champions events, each to commemorate the culmination of the entire VCT season and crown the indefinite best of the best at the end of each season. There have been 4 separate champions winner crowned during the event: Ascend, Loud, Evil Geniuses, and the most recent one being Edward Gaming, winning it in the latest rendition of the event, Champions Seoul. While tears of joy were being shed after EDG's victory, an underlying tone was brewing within the Valorant competitive community, one that everyone knew about but weren't bringing it up to not dampen the mood of such a joyous event. In this video, I'll go through the tragic fate of each Valorant Champions winner, where are their players in 2024, and what Edg Will Gaming can do to avoid a similar fate. Before this video starts, if you are new here or have been here before, please consider subscribing. It's free, helps the channel a ton, and you can always unsubscribe. Enjoy! The first ever Champions winner in Valorant history was Ascend, who claimed the title back in 2021 at the inaugural edition of the tournament, Champions Berlin. Ascend began their campaign by advancing from the group stages with a 2-0 record, defeating Keat Stars and Team Envy before moving onto the playoffs. The playoff format was different from the current champion structure, as the bracket was single elimination, putting teams under immense pressure to perform at their best. With no lower bracket, one mistake could mean the difference between going home or reaching the grand finals. Ascend first faced Team Secret, the Filipino representative who advanced through the lower brackets of the group stage by defeating Crazy Raccoons and Team Vikings. However, Ascend ended Secret's fairy tale run, sweeping them 13-8 and 13-6 in a 2-0 series. Ascend star duelist CNET shone, dropping 43 kills with a 33% headshot ratio and an astonishing 12 first bloods. Next, Ascend faced another EMEA team, Team Liquid, who had qualified via the last chance qualifier as the 3rd seeded team from their region. Led by CS legend Scream and his brother Nivera, Liquid managed to qualify for Champions Berlin, but they were no match for Ascend. Starkzo delivered on an astounding performance with 41 kills, a 278 ACS and a 1.9 KD ratio, helping Ascend qualify for their first ever grand final, which was also their first international grand final. In the grand finals, Ascend met Gambit Esports, the reigning Masters Berlin champions. The best of 5 series was a nail-biting affair, as both teams took turns dominating. Gambit won Breeze 13-11, but Ascend fought back on Ascend with a 13-7 victory, powered by their excellent defense. Fracture was a one-sided affair, with Gambit crushing Ascend 13-3, putting them on the back foot. Ascend had to dig deep to win 14-12 in overtime on Icebox, forcing a final map on Split. With Gambit on the verge of back-to-back titles, Ascend seized control of Split early, leading 7-5 at the half and finishing strong with a 13-8 win, clinching the World Championship. Although Ascend's victory was a monumental achievement at the time, their international hopes ended bitterly, as the rise of the chamber meta prevented them from repeating their success the following year, and they even failed to advance to the playoffs, falling behind their regional rivals. Due to their subsequent struggles and the organization's inability to attract a larger fanbase, Riot made the decision not to include Ascend in the franchise system. This resulted in the players parting ways in 2023. As of the 2024 off-season, Bone Cole is inactive on Vitality, with the team's lack of success raising questions about his leadership as an IGL. CNET had a brief stint with Na'Vi before joining the Turkish organization Foot, making his debut as Champions Seoul this year. Taos was last signed with KPI Esports in the 2nd tier, but was released in August. Starkzo was most recently signed by Koi, although he is currently a restricted free agent. Zeke is playing for GoNext Esports, but recently dropped out of Essentials EMEA. The 2nd ever Champions winner was Loud, who claimed the title in 2022. Widely regarded as not only the best South American team, but also one of the best teams in Valorant, the Brazilian powerhouse was formed with the goal of securing multiple international trophies using South America's finest players. The lineup consisted of Pancada, Saci, Sadak, Aspas and Les, each considered amongst Brazil's best, led by the former Team Vikings duo Saci and Sadak. Loud started their season by making a strong statement in the Valorant scene, reaching the grand finals of their first ever international event. However, they could not withstand Optic Gaming's resurgence from the lower brackets, losing the final 2 maps in a thrilling overtime finish. Many expected Masters Copenhagen to be Loud's breakthrough tournament, but things went awry, as they were eliminated in the group stage, once again falling to Optic Gaming. Doubt began creeping into the minds of the Valorant community, but in Brazil, fans still believe Loud was destined for greatness, with Champions Istanbul being their next and final chance to claim their long-deserved title. At Champions Istanbul, Loud opened with a 2-0 win over Zeta Division, but once again fell to Optic Gaming. However, they rebounded, defeating Zeta Division again to escape the group stage. Their first playoff match was against Leviathan, a relatively new squad from LATAM that had made its mark at Masters Copenhagen. Leviathan lacked the experience to handle the high-pressure situation of the playoffs though, losing a tight 14-12 game on Icebox before crumbling on Haven. Loud's next challenge was DRX, whom they overcame after a tumultuous race match, where Les and Pancada combined for 47 kills, both achieving over 33% headshot accuracy. Loud quickly dispatched DRX on Haven, winning 13-6 to secure a 2-0 victory. This set the stage for yet another showdown against their bitter rivals, Optic Gaming, marking the 5th encounter between the two teams that season and a rematch of the upper bracket finals. Loud sent Optic back down to the lower bracket finals, winning 13-10 on Icebox and 13-3 on Ascent, advancing to the grand finals once again. In the grand finals, Loud found themselves in a similar position to Masters Reykjavik, just one step away from an even more prestigious trophy. Yet again, they would face Optic Gaming. After an insane back and forth, Loud secured a crucial first map victory on Ascent in overtime, with Sasi delivering clutch performances, finishing with 32 kills, a 313 ACS, and a 1.79 rating. Optic bounced back with a dominant 13-6 win on Bind, evening the score. Despite the loss, Loud remained composed, edging out Optic on Breeze 16-14 in a nail-biting battle with heroics from the entire team. With one map left, Loud clinched the final map Haven with a decisive 13-5 victory, securing Brazil's first and only international Valorant trophy. However, the celebration was short-lived, as teams quickly came calling for Loud star players. In the following off-season, Sentinels lured Sasi and Pancada away from Loud with lucrative offers. While Pancada returned to Loud in 2024 season, they suffered another major blow with the loss of their top duelist Aspas later that year. Additionally, ongoing negotiations between Crew Esports and Loud's in-game leader Sadak seems to be drawing closer to an agreement, further complicating the team's future. Next up is Evil Geniuses, who had a Cinderella run, just barely qualifying for the Americas playoffs before going on a tear, dominating every map on their way to Masters Tokyo. They reached the grand finals but ultimately fell to Fnatic. With another shot at the title thanks to their automatic qualifications, Evil Geniuses were determined to win it all. After a swift group stage in which they swept their opponents 2-0, they faced Edg Will Gaming. Despite an earlier shock from EG's aggressive playstyle, Evil Geniuses quickly adapted, winning the following maps Ascent and Pearl 13-5 with ease. Next, Evil Geniuses faced DRX, a veteran team on the international scene, though one that often struggled with mental hurdles. EG capitalized on this, winning 13-9 on Fracture and 13-4 on led by a phenomenal performance from Demon 1, who racked up 43 kills, a 2.7 KD and a 285 ACS. With the grand finals in sight, EG's toughest challenge yet was Paper Rex, the tournament favourite. It proved to be their closest series to date, with EG falling 2-1 to Paper Rex in a legacy game from Myfreed, who delivered 57 kills, a 35% headshot accuracy, closing out the series. Facing elimination with their grand finals hope on the line, Evil Geniuses squared off against the previous champions Loud. It was time for someone to step up, and that someone was Demon 1. Across a grueling 5-map series, he tallied 101 kills, with an insane 41% headshot accuracy, propelling EG to back-to-back grand finals appearances. This time, they had learned from their mistakes at Masters Tokyo. EG dominated the grand finals, winning the series 3-1 and claiming their first and only international title. However, there's an aspect of Evil Genius success that a few are aware of. Before their dominant run at Masters Tokyo and Champions LA, Evil Geniuses had signed a total of 10 players to their Valorant roster, even though only 6 were required to compete in the season. Each player was guaranteed a minimum base salary of $50,000, meaning Evil Geniuses spent at least $500,000 on roster experiments. This hefty investment took a toll on the organization's finance, and it became evident in the following off-season, as they managed to retain only Joggermo and their coach Potter, while 80% of the roster left for other top-tier teams. Even then, in the 2024 season, Joggermo has been in talks with Sentinels to replace Tense and Sasi after their retirement, meaning that Evil Geniuses will only have Potter their coach for their upcoming 2025 season. So after hearing each of the individual stories of the separate champions winner, how can EDG avoid the same tumultuous fate that their previous iteration had of disbandment? Well, with the team clearly safely in the franchise system for the upcoming year, being China's biggest and most successful team, they'll be able to avoid the same fate Ascent had pre-franchising, meaning that the main issue with Edg Will Gaming is how will they be retaining players and prevent their players from leaving to other teams. The first hurdle EDG faces is that their player base. Being a Chinese team with players who predominantly speak Chinese, while being the #1 team in China is a tremendous feat, it also comes with challenges. Unlike other regions where players frequently transfer to new teams or explore international opportunities, EDG's roster is somewhat insulated by the language barrier, it's tough for their players to seek opportunities outside of China simply because the majority of top-tier Valorant teams operate in regions where English is the primary language. Communication is key in Valorant, and for EDG's players to integrate into Western or even non-Chinese Asian teams, overcoming the language barrier would be a steep task. That said, there aren't many compelling options for EDG players within China either. No other Chinese team is currently on EDG's level in terms of skills, strategy, or global success due to their inexperience. This dominance means that there's little reason for EDG's players to consider transitioning to another Chinese team unless there's an offer that is significantly outweighs what they're getting at EDG. And in the franchise system, it's not just about money. Loyalty, team chemistry, and long-term support from an organization matter just as much. However, if higher salaries or international attentions were to come to play, that might tempt some of EDG's stars to consider overseas offers, if of course those teams are willing to invest in overcoming the language barrier. This is where EDG must be careful though. They need to ensure that their players feel valued not just through monetary compensation, but by giving them a sense of belonging and a growth within the organization. It's a delicate balancing act to retain top-tier talent when the outside offers might come calling. Another question that arises is what opportunities has opened up for EDG now that they've won such a major international title. With the spotlight on them after their Champions Seoul victory, they've undoubtedly attracted a lot of attention from brands and companies looking to capitalize on their newfound fame, especially Chinese brands. If you look at the history of successful esports teams, partnerships and ambassador programs often follow championship wins. An example of this is Faker, who has built a brand of being the best player in League of Legends history, with brands such as Samsung, Nike, Razer, and even Mercedes collaborating with the player. Another player would be Tense, with him having a Final Mouse collaboration and even partnering with Secret Labs. This could be a crucial way for EDG to secure additional funding and both to retain their players and continue competing at the highest level. With China being such a massive market, it is likely that homegrown brands as well as international companies will be eager to align with a championship winning team. Do you think EDG can stay together? Let me know in the comments below.